In a world that constantly urges us to pursue success, chase validation, and please others, there exists a quiet but powerful invitation from Buddhist wisdom, a call to come back to ourselves, to recognize the true source of happiness, not outside, but within. This is not merely poetic idealism, but a practical path toward living with peace that cannot be shaken, a happiness that is, in every sense of the word, non-negotiable. Imagine beginning your day with a deep breath and a calm heart. For a moment, all is still, but then the world creeps in. Expectations, obligations, judgments. You find yourself adjusting your thoughts, your behavior, even your truth, just to meet the imagined demands of others. The happiness you woke up with starts to slip away. Sound familiar? This video is a guide to reclaiming that happiness and making it unshakable. Through the timeless teachings of the Buddha, we'll learn how to preserve inner peace, dissolve the sources of suffering, let go of attachment to external approval, establish healthy boundaries, and create daily practices that nourish a peaceful, centered life. We begin with the understanding that inner peace is not simply the absence of stress or noise. It is a deep, abiding stillness rooted in the clarity of mind and the freedom from craving. From a Buddhist view, inner peace arises when the mind is no longer swayed by desires, distractions, and attachment. Like a lamp shining in the darkness, it remains steady and warm unless we allow veils of insecurity, fear, or societal pressure to dim its light. The Buddha taught that suffering is not born from external circumstances, but from our reaction to them. That's where our power lies. It is not about controlling what happens outside, but about mastering our inner environment, our thoughts, responses, and the meaning we attach to events. Mindfulness becomes our anchor. When we learn to sit with our thoughts and feelings, watching them like clouds pass across the sky, we stop being dragged by every emotional wave. We cultivate the calm of a still lake, unmoved by the pebbles thrown into it by life's disruptions. And this peace is not selfish. On the contrary, it is a gift to the world. A peaceful person becomes a beacon of calm to those around them. Like the practice of equanimity, upekkha in Buddhism, we learn to stay steady, not swayed by praise or blame, gain or loss. Through this steadiness, we reconnect with our true self, untouched by the judgments or expectations of others. But inner peace cannot survive if we constantly feed it fear, doubt, and anger. Just as the body thrives on healthy food, the mind requires conscious nourishment. We must choose thoughts that uplift us, emotions that reflect our compassion, and actions that protect our tranquility. To do this, we must learn to recognize the roots of our suffering. Buddhism identifies 3 poisons: desire, hatred, and ignorance. Desire includes not only material longing, but the attachment to outcomes and control. When we cling to how things should be, we invite disappointment. Hatred or aversion pulls us into judgment and resistance toward others and ourselves, and ignorance blinds us to impermanence, to the truth that everything is always changing. Once we become aware of these poisons within, we can begin to purify the mind. We can shift from chasing approval to embracing self-acceptance. We can let go of envy, fear, and the illusion that others' recognition defines our worth. This leads us to the practice of detachment. Detachment is not indifference. It is freedom. When we release our dependence on others' approval, we reclaim our power. We no longer say yes when we mean no, or live in fear of rejection. Detachment lets us act from authenticity, not from the need to perform for acceptance. Self-compassion becomes the new foundation. We meditate on our own enoughness. We reflect on our values. We breathe through the discomfort of not pleasing everyone and grow stronger in the process. To live this truth daily, we must also set boundaries, not to shut others out, but to honor our own needs. A healthy boundary is an act of love for ourselves and for others. It lets our relationships become more honest, respectful, and free. Saying no when necessary is a way of saying yes to our peace. When we set boundaries, not from coldness, but from intention. The Eightfold Path in Buddhism reminds us of right intention, acting with clarity, not avoidance, with compassion, not control. We acknowledge our limitations. We release the need to be everything for everyone. We prioritize our well-being, knowing that we serve others best when we are whole within ourselves. Daily practices are how we sustain this. Meditation, gratitude, mindful eating, joyful movement, time in silence, connection with kind-hearted people, small, consistent actions that remind us happiness is not a destination, it's a habit, a decision we make each morning to honor our peace. Self-care becomes sacred, not a luxury, but a practice of reverence for the life within us. And detachment continues as our companion, not the detachment of numbness, but the kind that lets us love deeply without fear of loss. We hold lightly, knowing everything changes. And in that knowing, we find freedom. In this way, happiness becomes unshakable, not because life becomes perfect, but because we stop depending on it to be so. We stop negotiating our joy for approval, for comfort, for praise. We begin to see that happiness is not given. It is claimed, protected, cultivated, and at the heart of it all is the quiet, luminous truth. You are enough. You are whole. You are the guardian of your peace. So, if this message speaks to you, take it to heart. Begin today with a single breath, a gentle yes to your own well-being, a soft no to what no longer serves you. Subscribe to the Enlightened Mind and walk with us on this journey. Let's build a community where happiness is not a bargain, but a birthright, where inner peace is not a dream, but a daily practice. Share your thoughts in the comments. What does non-negotiable happiness look like for you? Together, let's keep choosing peace. Let's keep returning to ourselves. Let's keep reminding each other that we are already home.